In the vast, silent theater of the Pacific, a lone ship prepared to challenge the deep.
Their vessel was the Abyssal Explorer, a sphere of titanium and resolve, ready to descend into a world without sun.
Their target, the SS Tempesta, lost for 54 years. Within its crushed hull lay...
With a final release, the human world faded above them. They committed to the descent, pulled into the abyss.
They
passed through layers of night, where the only light was life itself, a drifting galaxy of living stars.
Here, the pressure could crush a human body in an instant. They lived only by the grace of their engineered sphere.
Monsters of the deep became temporary companions, grotesque, beautiful, and utterly indifferent to the intruders.
4 kilometers down, they reached the abyssal plain, a desert of ooze holding the graves of ships and the patience of eternity.
And then she appeared, the Tempesta, once a symbol of luxury, now a leviathan.
They had found their quarry. Now, the delicate work of excavation would begin.
The first cut was a violation of a decades-long silence. Fire met ancient steel in a place where neither should exist. Rising from the deep, the ancient cargo neared the surface, a moment historians and archaeologists had only dreamed of.
Behind the steel lay the wreckage of history, a compressed snapshot of the moment the Tempesta met the abyss. There.
After hours of searching, a shape in the chaos matched the manifest. The first crate.
Millimeter by millimeter, they guided history into a vessel that could carry it home.
The first crate was not alone. The hold had become a tomb for timepieces, scattered like metallic seeds. For hours, they performed this underwater archaeology, collecting fragments of a luxury the deep had never understood.
Fatigue was a weight as tangible as the ocean above them. But the work was nearly done. The final step, giving the treasure buoyancy, sending it on the long, slow ascent to the world of light.
They left the wreck as they found it, a monument to human ambition, resting in nature's grand, indifferent cathedral.
The ascent was a rebirth. Each 100 meters shed was a step away from the prehistoric dark, toward the remembered sun.
After 16 hours in the abyss, they returned. The ocean released them, along with the secrets they carried.
Watch the swing, bring it down easy. Steady on the line, secure the forward cleats.
The air tasted different. It carried the weight of the sky, a stark contrast to the pressurized atmosphere they had inhabited.
There it is. Looks like the recovery was a success.
Well done, everyone. Let's get these secured.
This was what they had risked the abyss for. Not just valuables, but stories frozen at the moment they were lost.
The next phase was one of meticulous resurrection. Salt and time were painstakingly separated from steel and craftsmanship.
One by one, they emerged from their crusts, objects of precise engineering, bearing the elegant scars of their long sleep. She knew the mechanism was frozen, but the gesture was a ritual, an attempt to bridge the decades of stillness.
Time for this watch had stopped with the Tempesta. No amount of winding could ever recover those lost hours.
They had done it. Not a conquest, but a retrieval. A small victory against the immense forgetting of the sea.
The ocean remained, holding countless other secrets. The ship was but a temporary visitor. The silence was broken by the practicalities of the present. The treasure was secured, but the ocean's presence was a lasting companion. In the warmth of the ship's belly, the tension of the deep finally began to seep from their bones. The body remembered the pressure, the concentration, the unnatural stillness required for so many hours.
They relived the mission not in grand terms, but in shared details. A glance, a sound, a moment of sudden clarity in the dark.
With the dawn came a new perspective. The triumph of retrieval was now tempered by the sheer scale of what had been lost.
Each piece was a story interrupted, a gift never given, an achievement never celebrated, a lifetime of seconds that never ticked. The process turned from recovery to accounting. Each watch was transformed from artifact to asset, its journey meticulously recorded. They paid respects not just to a ship, but to the passengers and crew of the Tempesta, and to the enduring mystery of their fate.
Job well done. We turn for home.
The mission phase was over. Now began the long voyage home, carrying its fragile cargo. Some watches would never tick again, their intricate hearts forever silenced by seawater's relentless chemistry.
The damage told its own story, a history of slow, patient transformation under immense, constant pressure. The shared experience of the deep forged a bond that surface routines could never replicate. The abyss was never truly left behind. It lived now in their memories, a world of wonders and shadows. The Pacific reminded them of its power. The gentle mirror was gone, replaced by its older, fiercer aspect.
They had faced the deep stillness. Now they faced its fury. The ship, like the watches, was built to endure.
The storm was a brief, violent interlude. It passed, as all things on the ocean do.
Between the grand moments of mission, the life of the ship continued, a microcosm of skill, tradition, and simple human connection.
The world ashore began to reach for them, its voice full of congratulations and questions of value, already forgetting the depth it came from.
The voyage home was a limbo. They lived between the profound experience of the dive and the predictable reality of port.
Look at them go. Did you see that jump?
Absolutely incredible. I've never seen so many.
These were the gifts of the surface world: life, light, and effortless grace. The ocean was never empty. It was a layered world, full of migrants and residents, each living. The hierarchy of the mission faded. They were all just sailors now, sharing the tedium and small comforts of the long passage.
After weeks of unbroken blue, land was a shock to the system, a solid line where the world of water ended.
Home meant success, reunion, and reward. It also meant the end of the singular, focused world the mission had created.
The behemoth of the deep returned to the world of concrete and commerce, a creature out of its element.
The ritual of return began. Paperwork replaced sonar. Handshakes replaced the grip of manipulator arms.
She was the ambassador from the deep, delivering its reluctant bounty to a world that measured value in spreadsheets.
It's all there.
Confirmed. The artifacts were subjected to a new kind of scrutiny, their worth debated in the language of law and finance.
In this sterile light, the watches were no longer relics of a tragedy. They were lots, assets, collectibles.
She felt a distance from the objects now, as if the moment they entered this bright room, their connection to the deep was severed.
The bond forged in the abyss didn't require ceremony. It was understood, a permanent thread connecting them across any distance.
The abyss was internal now, a place she could visit in her mind, with perfect, haunting clarity.
Two worlds, both real. One of relentless, marked seconds.
The ship had no memory. It was a platform, a means to an end. Its purpose was always the next mission.
From this height, the Pacific was a map. It gave no hint of the crushing pressures, the strange life, and the lost ships below. The deep had left its mark on her, an invisible tattoo only she could see. She returned to a life measured in mortgages and grocery lists, a world away from abyssal plains and titanium spheres. The world moved on, transforming the recovered past into a sensational present. The narrative was now about price, not pressure.
She knew the true story wasn't in the auction results. It was in the silence, the cold, and the careful hands that had performed the retrieval.
Official recognition, tangible reward. It felt both deserved and entirely disconnected from the experience itself. That was the reward. Not the money or the accolades, but that circle of shared silence under the indifferent stars.
Life on the surface was a series of routines, of forward motion. The dive was a permanent, still point in her past. And so the weight of time settled. Not in the ticking of a...
The team scattered, returning to their own latitudes and longitudes, carrying the same silent anchor within them.
In workshops far from the sea, other experts began their work. Their challenge was not depth.
The journey from sediment to showcase was complete. The watches were prepared for their second debut, this time under gavel lights. The market demanded perfection, a clean narrative. The truth of the ooze and the darkness was a story they preferred to suggest, not show.
Some returned to the water not as conquerors, but as companions. Its surface was enough. Its depths could keep their secrets.
Muscle memory of the deep remained. The feel of hydraulic feedback, the resistance of water against the manipulator arm.
He found a new purpose, translating the experience into knowledge, inspiring the next generation of explorers of the unseen world.
The ship moved on. Her decks held new crews, new equipment, new purposes. The memory of the...
Not all the recovered past had a commercial future. Some pieces were destined for permanent, curated silence.
Their value had shifted again, from treasure to relic, from asset to object of scientific inquiry.
The world consumed the story it wanted. Man versus nature, technology triumphant, treasure recovered.
She had no interest in the myth. She lived with the reality, the memory of total blackness.
The subconscious mind is no respecter of boundaries. It merges the profound with the mundane, the abyssal with the domestic.
This was the ocean she lived with now. A distant, beautiful plain. It was a small ritual, an offering to the vastness, an acknowledgement that some things are...
The call of the deep was not a one-time siren song. It was a profession, a curiosity, a part of... One was proof of a finished story. The other was the first page of a potential new chapter.
The weight of time was also the pull of the future. What was recovered shaped what could be imagined.
Yes. Send me the full spec sheet on the new submersible. And the updated legal briefs on that jurisdiction.
Technology never slept. While one mission became memory, the next generation of vessels was already being born.
This array integrates the new sonar system seamlessly.
The data throughput is exceptional. What about the exceptional?
The tools evolved. The essential challenge remained the same: to build a bubble of human will and withstand the indifferent pressure.
The horizon was once again a beginning, not an end. The ocean's surface was again a door, not a barrier. She carried her past with her, a reminder of what was possible, of bonds forged, and of the quiet that follows great effort.
Far below, life continued its slow, cold cycles. The wound in the hull was already healing, becoming part of the reef.
What remained was reclaimed by the abyss. The ocean kept its small tribute, its own collection of frozen moments. The new vessel was a creature of data and precision, built not just for salvage, but for sustained inquiry into the deep secrets.
Her focus had shifted, from recovering man-made treasure to investigating the Earth's own, older mysteries. The ocean was a mirror.
Telemetry looks nominal across all bands. Check the starboard clamps.
Starboard clamp secured, torque is reading green.
The objective was knowledge, not treasure. The currency was core samples and sensor data, measured in insights, not carats or dollars.
The past was present, but as a reference point, not a guide. This dive was a different story.
The signatures stabilized right up until this point.
And this spike correlates with the seismic data.
Precisely. That's why this vent is so critical.
Technology had grown quieter, more graceful. The violation of the surface was now a gentle immersion.
这话怎定的噻？
The deep had not changed. But the eyes with which an elderly East Asian woman viewed it had.
This was the deep's true metabolism, the constant, gentle rain of life from above, feeding the endless night below.
They were hunters now, tracking the invisible signatures of the Earth's breath on the seafloor.
They had found a hydrothermal vent field, a crack in the planet's crust, where life thrived on chemistry, not sunlight.
Here was life at its most radical and resilient, a biology rewritten by geology, thriving in conditions that would mean instant death elsewhere.
The act of retrieval was the same. But the prize was a piece of the living Earth itself, a record.
This was exploration in its purest form, mapping the unknown not for profit, but for the simple, profound act of knowing.
She felt a sense of privilege, not accomplishment. To witness this was a gift the ocean offered to few. The energy was contagious, the thrill of discovery, untainted by the complexities of ownership or loss.
In the lab, the deep yielded its secrets willingly. The data began to paint a picture of a world within our world.
The new experience had its own space. It did not overwrite the old, but sat beside it.
The old bonds held. They communicated in the shorthand of those who had shared the ultimate workplace.
The horizon was no longer a limit, but an invitation. There were always more trenches.
It was a relic, yes, but also a key. It had unlocked the door to this continued journey into the unknown.
The weight of time was not a burden to carry, but a ballast that provided stability for the voyages ahead.
And in one person, the stories merged. The seeker, the recoverer, the witness. All roles. The tools of observation grew sharper. Each dive added pixels to the map of humanity's understanding of the deep.
Her expertise was now pattern recognition, reading the stories told by sound waves bouncing off the unseen.
Bear 10 degrees.
Another treasure of the deep, formed by the patient drip of minerals from the water column, a geological clock even slower than a stopped watch. That's a rich field, untouched.
Discovery brought not just wonder, but new questions of ethics and exploitation.
For now, they would only observe. Some discoveries were best left as records, not receipts.
Missions had beginnings and ends. The ship was a temporary home, the crew a temporary family bound by shared purpose.
It was an honor, ma'am. The honor was mine. Safe dives.
Respect was the currency of her world. It was earned.
Surface time was frantic, commodified. She had learned time on a different scale, geological, abyssal, patient.
These were her souvenirs, not trinkets, but images and data, proofs of a reality most would never see.
The offers would keep coming. The industry was expanding into the deep, and her experience was a rare commodity.
The deepest quiet she knew wasn't an absence of sound. Send me the prospectus.
And so she